Here I am. Here we are. Roll along on this Monday. I'll say this. Like Dino Babers would have been walking a lonely road on Saturday if that game plan had gone awry. Instead, gangbusters. Couldn't have gone any better in Syracuse's 28-13 win over Pitt. We had no idea what to expect given the quarterback situation on Saturday. And despite having no idea what to expect, what we saw was not among the options. Credit to all involved for pulling it off. And one of the main guys involved in what we saw on Saturday was tight end Dan Villari, former quarterback and tight end Dan Villari. And Dan, welcome in. So knowing all that, knowing you are a former quarterback and a tight end, how does it sound to be the ACC running back of the week? I don't know if we had that on the bingo card for this week, my friend.
It's extremely surreal. Appreciate you having me on, but it's surreal. It's kind of funny to see running back of the week. I didn't think it would say that, honestly.
Yeah, it's of the many positions you've played, that's never been on the list of anything you've actually called yourself. So take me into, I want to go back to early last week. When did you guys start putting this game plan in? Because you basically, best I can tell, you put in an entirely new offense in less than a week.
Yeah, I think very shortly after the BC game, we started implementing this new kind of style.
And obviously, it worked out well. And, Garrett, he's banged up. He can't do what he normally does. Injuries lead to innovation, I guess, in football. How long did it take you guys to kind of grasp what was going on? I imagine, you've all played Wildcat stuff, and you did it in high school before. And, read option runs are not uncommon these days. But how long did it take to get a handle on what this new offense was going to look like for Saturday?
Yeah, obviously I was pretty comfortable right away. Obviously I had to get back into, making reads and making calls and stuff like that. But it kind of took all week, for a lot of guys to really grasp it and believe in it, because as a receiver, you're not catching the ball this week. It's kind of tough to stay locked in and be motivated. So, I tried to keep everybody together and keep everybody motivated. And I think that win really helped us, helped the morale.
Yeah, well, I think we saw that. We saw the shots of the locker room after Dan Wright, did the Who's House, Our House down there, still in New York State at Yankee Stadium. Take me into that moment after the game. What's it like? Excitement, relief that you got one. What was the emotion like at that point?
Oh man, I must have hugged every single player on our team. Like it was a real happy moment. Whenever he does that chant at the end, it's going to be a good night. So it was refreshing, I would say. Refreshing for sure.
And how refreshing, I guess, is it now around the locker room? It could not have been. I think we talked a few weeks ago, Dan, and you were a couple games into a losing streak at that point. Now it would have been up to 5. It couldn't have been a lot of fun. How much does this take off the team? How much does this lighten the load here going into this week?
Yeah, I think it was starting to get real negative around the building. We were just trying to hang on for dear life and trying to show up for practice every day, motivated. And it was real hard. It was real tough. But I think now we got a little bit of boost of motivation. And, man, I told everybody we really needed that. We really needed that for the rest of the season. And now I feel like everybody's confident. I feel like we're back on track for the rest of the season.
Yeah, and now 5-5. Obviously, one more win gets you guys to bowl eligibility. I want to hit a couple of different, obviously people or groups that were certainly involved in this success on Saturday, Dan. You mentioned the wideouts. Dino mentioned them this morning at his press conference, and you're right. That's got to be tough, right? They show up to catch the ball, and they found out their assignment this week was basically anything but that. How much did they help you guys out on the perimeter with all the blocking they were doing all game long?
Yeah, they helped tremendously. I mean, it's tough because, Coach Beck is an air raid offense, explosive. You come to play receiver at Syracuse, you're going to catch the ball, a lot. And it was real tough, being a receiver and just blocking. It's real tough to be motivated. But I thought those guys did a great job. And, I told guys like Umari Hatcher, I said, just put on a highlight tape of blocking, man. I mean, NFL scouts are going to see you blocking out there. You got to block as a receiver. So you might as well just be the best blocking receiver you can on Saturday because, that's all you could do. And, scouts will see that. So try to motivate some of them.
And hey, I guess it worked, Dan, because they were out there blocking all game long. Certainly, the five guys in front of you were doing it with the offensive line, and then obviously a lot of other guys were rotating in with Max Mang, other tight ends, various people. Like O linemen always say like, "Hey, run blocking's more fun than pass blocking." How much fun did that group have on Saturday going forward the whole game?
They had a blast, man. I saw them doing the rocket kick line at the end, and I was like, man. Those guys did unbelievable. I mean, those holes were wide open for me to run through, and it was almost like running through those things. I was almost like, wow. I was like, this is pretty easy. That offensive line unit did an unbelievable job coming back from that BC game. Shout out to them.
Yeah, Chris Bleich, you were an ACC running back of the week. Chris Bleich was an ACC offensive lineman of the week, so that makes a little more sense given his the name of his position. Garrett Schrader, obviously banged up, like he clearly compromised in throwing the football, which is how you guys arrived at this point. He's still out there. He's battling along with those guys. You guys, it looked like he's flanked out wide at wide receiver, and he's still kind of yelling back what the adjustments can be. What kind of week was this like for Garrett, and how was he able to do that for you guys on Saturday?
I think Garrett's a football player as well. I think he's a really good football player who can do multiple things. So I think he was excited, and he had a real positive attitude all throughout the week, and I think that helped us. Seeing your quarterback in good spirits, and your quarterback's excited to take on this new plan. So yeah, he definitely was real positive, and he did a great job. Execute.
He had the best backflip on the team on Saturday. I know that. Did you know that was coming? I imagine you didn't actually see it live. What was going on there?
After the game, everybody's talking about a backflip. I was like, what is this backflip you guys are talking about? And then I see my phone. He's everywhere. And I'm like, that's typical, man. I honestly, I don't think it's typical. I'm surprised he did that. But, shoot, that was pretty nice, though. It's a pretty good backflip. I wouldn't try that.
He stuck the landing. Yeah. I give him credit. You were kind of heavily involved in the play on the other side of the field, but he stuck the friggin' landing. I'll give him that one. I don't know if he'll pull that out again this week. That might be aggressive to go 2 in a row.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to go 2 in a row. But, yeah, it was impressive.
All right, I got to ask you about LeQuint, too, because as much as you were running the ball and, taking snaps, he was doing the same thing. He was getting, a lot of the really hard yards there in the middle of the field. How vital was what LeQuint did on Saturday to accomplishing the task for this new offense this week?
Man, LeQuint is vital every single week. I mean, I always tell people every football player should play like him. I mean, he plays with such heart and such like tenacity. He's a warrior, and we needed him to step up as well. And I told him as well, it is what it is at this point, but just be a better football player every day. Because a lot of guys were trying to find motivation last week at practice, and I told LeQuint, man, you're going to do this the rest of your life, so you might as well just go hard and just keep trying to be the best running back you can be. And he said, I got you, and that's exactly what he did, and he was a warrior out there on that field, and he helped us out as well.
Yeah, we heard talk last week. We asked him about it last week when you guys come out for your player interviews on Tuesday mornings about how he kind of gathered the offense together and gave a little pep talk or whatever it was during practice last week. He personally kind of downplayed that. Is that being too modest? What kind of effect did that have on the offense from practice last week?
I think it had a real effect for sure, because he even said, I'm the youngest guy out here, and I shouldn't be the one saying this. And I think that really hit everybody and was like, wow, look at this kid. I mean, he's a sophomore, and he's talking about he gives everything he has every single day. And that's why I say everybody should play football like him. He puts his body on the line every practice, not even every game, every practice. And so, I try to do that as well. And he's an unbelievable teammate.
Dan Villari is with us, and here we are, Dan, getting ready to head down to Georgia Tech this week. And now you got your old offense still in the bag somewhere, which I imagine can be pulled out at any time. You got this new offense. How do you prep for a week like this, where you got the full bag of tricks now at your disposal? And I'd imagine Georgia Tech has no clue what you're going to be sending against them this week.
Yeah, I mean it's early in the week, so I haven't even met with our offense coordinator, so I'm not sure about what's going to happen this week.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes this week in Atlanta. Obviously, we know what was effective this last week. Last thing, Dan, before we cut you loose, this was as close to home as you're going to get playing at Yankee Stadium. You're a Long Island guy. I know you had a bunch of friends and family there. Factoring that in, what was that like for you, during the game, after the game, knowing that all your people were there for you?
Man, I had 75 people in one section for me. It was unreal, man, that my family supports me like that. I remember at the end of the game, I was running to get interviewed, and I just look up and I just see all of them putting their hands up like this, screaming at me, just going nuts, like screaming at the top of their lungs. They were like high up too, and I heard them, and I was just so blessed to have a family and friends like that supporting me from Long Island and stuff. So it was amazing.
All right, Dan. Well, awesome to watch you have that moment and that crazy game last week. Keep it going. I'm sure we'll talk again soon. All right.
Appreciate you. Yes, sir.
Dan Villari, tight end, former quarterback, and now current ACC running back of the week after his 17-carry, 154-yard, one-touchdown performance in a brandy new offense for the Orange this past week against Georgia Tech. We'll see what it looks like next week. I am going to head out on a limb and guess that it's going to look similar, because I don't know if Garrett can magically get healed to be chucking the ball down the field, but we'll see what kind of wrinkles and whatnot can be devised off of this going forward, because it is without question, the most successful thing the Orange have done on offense, literally going back to September. So we shall see. We'll get our guy Adam Terry's thoughts on that when we come back. Adam joins us as he does every Monday. That's next. It's QSportsTalk.com and ESPN Radio.